Hi everyone, welcome to the Creative Cove, and my name is Michelle. I wanted to jump on and show you a video on how to draw a little birdie on some teacups. So I've been playing away with some sketches. So this is going to be a quickie sketch video on how to draw something like this, and then I thought we could build a little ephemera with it. So using some scrap fabrics that I have, I'm right into sewing different mediums together to create some fun little inserts for journals, or you could even use these for a front of a greeting card, but it's a nice way to incorporate your sketches into your journals. So let's get started. I've got a couple little samples here, so I'm going to pick which one to draw. Here's one with a couple little birdies in it. So I think we will let's do this one. I kind of like how he's perched up there. So we will draw him today. So you'll need some scrap paper. So I always use my scrap coffee dyed paper. It's always been my go-to. And but you can use whatever you like, whatever you have. And I'm going to use some vintage photo distressed oxide ink and this old stamp that I got off Amazon. It's just kind of a writing that you can't really read, but I like how it kind of makes the overall drawing look even older. So that's the look I like. You don't necessarily have to do this part. I just dunk my stamp in and then just go ahead and put it randomly all over. And then I just rub the edges. You're going to need a pencil and an eraser or a pen, whatever you like to sketch with. So the idea behind my quickie sketches, if you're new to my channel, is just capturing the form pretty quickly. We're not out to draw a masterpiece. We're just having fun with scraps and some papers and your little pencil here. So I use a standard mechanical pencil with a 0.7 size lead, and it is an HB, so just a medium soft lead. So let's get started on sketching here. So what's nice about these videos is you can pause the video, slow the video down, speed it up if you've drawn this before, or whatever you're comfortable with. So let's start with a very, very subtle smiley face. And we're gonna continue that to a frowny face on the other side. So very loose, nothing straight, just very sketchy. Then we're gonna go down the side of the teacup. So we're gonna feel our way out and try and get it as symmetrical as possible. And we can always make adjustments. And then join that teacup up at the bottom and give it a handle. So I'm gonna put the handle over here. So I'm just gonna, you can give it a fancy handle, you can give it whatever handle you like. You can pull a teacup out of your cupboard and pull the design off the teacup in front of you. So we're going to repeat that process. We're going to do a tiny, subtle smiley face at the bottom of your teacup now. And we're going to connect the frowny face behind it. So it stops at the teacup, pretend it goes through and out the other side. So those semi-smiley face, semi-frowny face. And then we're going to pull down the sides and join those. And those are going to be straight across the bottom. And then we can just thicken that line up a little bit to indicate a little bottom saucer piece. So now we're gonna pull these lines right to that smiley face there. We're gonna make sure that teacup is sitting inside the saucer, just like that. So now we've got our teacup. And again, you can make adjustments if you feel your teacup's a little lopsided or uneven. So I always have an eraser handy. So now let's do the birdie. So we're gonna have the bird perched on this side of the cup. So we're gonna put his belly right here. I like to start where the bird is gonna sit, just so I can draw it in proportion to the cup. So this is just gonna be a tiny little bird, little sparrow maybe. So we're gonna give him some little feet off the edge of the cup. So just draw 2 little lines. In this case, in the back leg, we'll do 3. So there's his little claws hanging onto the cup. I'm gonna do a big smiley face now. So we do a big smiley face. We're gonna extend this side of the smile up. So this is his chest, this is his tail end. So let's go into his head now. So we're gonna now curve it out a little here, just for his throat. And then we're gonna go into a beak. And again, we can make adjustments if we make something too big or too small or a funny shape. And then we're gonna now pull the head back. So there's his head, and then his back, and then his wing. So a frowny smile here, and then a line back to his back, and then we're gonna give him a wing going up. And again, you can adjust it. So I find that wing maybe is a little too high, so I'm gonna pull that line a little further back as opposed to up. And then his tail. So there's the basic shape of him. And we can, again, make adjustments. So I think I'd like his neck and head a little bit more of a subtle line, kind of blend in together like that. So let's give him an eye. So what I like to do is I like to pull back from the beak and then put the eye in. So the line back here kind of gives me a visual reference as to where his eye should sit in relation to his head, which can be one of the trickiest parts. The beak and the eyes, drawing birds, can be pretty tricky. And it's really just practice. So now I'm gonna fill in his eye, and I'm gonna leave just an indication of white around it, and I'm gonna start pulling back the feathers. Now my feathers go outside the lines I've drawn, and I'm just gonna give him a nice little sketch in like this. And I'm not gonna stress about all the details and things like that. I'm gonna extend his wing a little, just so it separates itself from the tail. I'm gonna darken the back end of his tail a little bit. And all I do is put a little bit more pressure on the pencil. So I want to erase the teacup line, because we wouldn't be able to see that because it's behind him. And I'm just going to fill in a little bit more feather indication under here. I think I'm gonna soften his beak a little bit. He's got a bit of a duck beak going on. I don't like it. So I'm just gonna take my eraser and I'm gonna erase it off. And I'm gonna redraw his tiny little beak. There we go. A little bit more proportion to him. And every species of bird has its own very unique beak. And you wanna make sure you get the right beak for the right bird. So let me lighten up his chest a little. So when I sketch, sometimes I go a little bit dark. I add a little bit more pencil than I want. And that's what I love about sketching, is you're constantly readjusting. And every time you do, you learn a little bit more about how to sketch, how to capture form. So you'll notice here, I'm not just coloring the bird back and forth or up and down. I'm following the direction. The feathers would grow this way, and then the wing, they go that way, and the tail, they go that way, and in the chest, they come down this way. And that's important in order to capture a little bit more depth in your drawings. So we're going to apply that same theory of direction and shading into the cup now, so we can give the cup a little bit of interest. You can decorate the cup however you like. So I'm going to put a little bit of shading inside the cup, just to separate the back from the front, just a little. Again, just nice and loose. I'm going to give it a little bit of a rim. And what would be really fun here is you could like apply gold leaf or something for those really old cups. You know, put some glue down, stick some gold leaf to it, and that could be really fun, or gold paint. But anyways, I'm getting off track here. So here's a good example of how to capture some contour line. So when you go across, if you were to go straight across to put your decoration in, you flatten the cup. If you curve your line to indicate that the cup is actually a sphere as opposed to a circle, you've now given it some dimension. So if you take just the ends of those lines and give them a subtle curve, you've now given the cup some three-dimensional form. It's that simple. By adding a little bit of curvature into your contour line, you've now given the cup some definition. So now we'll put some shading in. So I'm gonna darken the bottom. And I like to just kind of bring in the edge here, just a little bit on the side. And I'm gonna put my highlight through the middle. So I'm just gonna scribble in some color. So let's say this cup is, you know, white, blue, white, blue. So this would be a little bit darker because it has a color. And also it helps build up some form here. Just gonna erase in here, it's a little dark. There we go. Just pull this line here. And I'm still gonna add a little bit in here, just not quite as much. So a little bit in here, a little bit in here. And then I like to go up and down as well when it comes to hard, shiny surfaces like porcelain and stuff. So this kind of shading is like a hatch mark shading. So some of you might like it, some of you might not. But I think it's a nice little technique to add. You can add the shading in and it gives it even more texture to the drawing. So again, I'm just going straight up and down. I'm not following my contour lines like this on this one because I'm using a hatch mark technique to color in the mug. So now we're going to do the handle. So the light's coming down here. So the shadow would cast underneath the handle here and underneath the handle here. So this would actually be a little bit of light on the edge of this mug here. Just like that. So you can do a real fancy handle if you want. I'm just gonna darken this up. I'm gonna leave a little bit of a rim here along the edge of this original smiley face, just a little one, just so there's a visual separation between cup and saucer. Darken up the cup a little bit. There we go. And fill this in. So this is all in shade under here. And then there's going to be a little bit of shade indication behind inside the saucer as well. So there. Kind of fun, right? And we could do anything we want. We can do little music notes just for something different since we've got all this negative space up here. So I'm just going to put a couple of little music notes in. And then what we'll do is I'll show you how I fix it so that the lead doesn't come off. So if I were to do this, I've now got transfer from the graphite to my finger. So when it goes in a journal, the page will get very dirty very fast. So I'm just going to sign it. And then all I use is a hairspray. So I had this ancient hairspray from like the 1980s when I used to do big hair. So it's just a fixative. So you can actually buy a product that fixes charcoal and pastels and things like that, or you can just give it a shot of hairspray. So you can see it's kind of wet. And you're just going to put that aside for a minute and let it dry. Don't take long. And then we'll pull out some fabrics. So I've got a couple little pieces kicking around here that I've been playing with. And I think we'll use these. So I'm going to maybe use this. This is an old curtain. And all my fabrics come just from a thrift shop, primarily. I don't like to pay money for fabrics, but I mean, you can find the funnest things at thrift shops. I'm a thrifter. I love the treasure hunt. So I'm just going to see if this will rip. No. So bear with me because this is a big piece. So it's still drying that drawing, so we'll be careful. But I want to just measure it out here. And I call these messy scraps because nothing is cut straight. Everything's just kind of random. And this is a fun way, again, to incorporate your drawings into your journals. And the fixative, the hairspray will stop the transfer of the graphite, so it'll keep your journal clean. And your sewing machine can go right through paper. And you can have a really fun time playing with scraps. All right, so we'll do that. I think we'll put this guy behind. So, and this is the look I like. I like the vintagey look, but you can use whatever colors of fabric. You like the bright colors. You could do this with pencil. You could do this with paint. I mean, you can do it with any anything that appeals to you and your stash of goodies. So we'll do that. And I hope I'm in frame here. My camera's down low so it can zoom in on that little sketch. And then I dyed some lace, some of this lace I got from a thrift shop. I thought that could be kind of fun to incorporate as well. Maybe we'll just do a cross like this, just to add just another element, another interest in the textures. So I like this piece against it. I think I'll put this underneath, so just kind of peekaboos out the side. So I find it's getting a little lost actually, so we won't put it there. Maybe we'll put it behind this one. Just kind of building up our, yeah, don't even see that either. So we'll leave the lace out. And then I thought I have some different little bits and pieces here. I did buy these at the dollar store because I thought these were kind of fun. So $1.25 for little bits like that is kind of nice. So here's one here. What else have we got? This is kind of pretty. Like this one because it's a bit more see-through. Let's use this one. So I'm going to cut this and I'm going to run a piece up this way as well. So again, messy scraps. I don't measure anything. I'm going to run it through my machine. So I only have a top view camera mount. So, and it's just my cell phone. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see me stitching. I'll try and do it as fast as I can. So first I'm going to stitch the paper to the main part. And I'm just using a straight stitch. Whoops. Using a straight stitch. And we'll go this way. And I'm not worried about things lining up. I'm not worried about things being perfectly straight or even. I like that kind of put together last minute handmade look. So I've got the two sides sewn here. So now I'm going to put in my pieces that I just cut. So I don't have to sew the paper twice, because the more sewing you do, the weaker it gets. So we don't want to over sew it. All right, I'm gonna put that in the machine now. And this time I'm gonna switch it to a zigzag stitch, just to cover more of the burlap type ribbon we've put in. So I'm just gonna try and get that straight. So that's that. Sorry, my camera shakes. The table is connected. My camera's connected to the table and the machine likes to bounce. So that's one side done. And we'll do this side real quick. All right, almost done. Okay, there we go. Move this back out of the way. And there we have it. So, like I said, it's not coming off now because you've fixed it with the hairspray. It dried real quick, and that's a really fun way to use up your sketches. So you can sit around and doodle all these cute little sketches and then make these really pretty ephemera pieces to put into your journals or give away or trade, or like I said, you can make greeting cards out of these with the fabrics and everything. So I hope you enjoyed that little video today. I hope you give it a go. And if you do like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. And hit the like button and enjoy. Have a great day, guys. Bye.